to first. The Angels have no hit. The Seattle Mariners racing back to the track. Gone! Big fly for Mike Trout. There it is. Hit number 3,000 for Albert Pujols. Gone! Big fly, Ohtani shot. Walshot leaps up, and he got it. Oh, my! Jared has no hit. The Minnesota Twins. The Angels, world champions.
Michael Nelson Trout.
Nelson Trout.
Michael Nelson Trout. We are coming to you live straight after the 4-game series in New York finishes. This is instant reaction to that series. I could not start this without serenading the man, the legend, the GOAT, Michael Nelson Trout. I am Nick Wright at LA Angels UK. This is Halfway Around the Halo, Season 8, Episode 5. We're here, we're back, we're ready. And I think this is going to be a very positive episode of Halfway Around the Halo. I'm going to put that out there now. It's like this a lot of the time, isn't it? As you know, any regular listener of the show knows that our moods, the positivity of the show is very much based on the week we've just seen. But this week for me, there were some negatives, there were some positives. We're going to touch on all of that, Toby. But I think I've got a good feeling about this show. How you doing?
I'm a lot better having just watched that game. Sports fans are the most fickle people in the universe. Last week we were so down in the dumps and in the doldrums, and this week complete switch around. And like you say, there are a few negatives in there, but this one is definitely a high vibes podcast, I would say.
I think so. And if you're liking the vibes, sometimes positive, sometimes negative. If you're watching this on YouTube, go hit that subscribe button so you get it all coming through to you. If you're listening on Apple, on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, please do go hit subscribe. It really helps us. But we're going to get straight into it off the back of...
Drop us a 5-star review as well.
Yeah, 5 stars if you like. If you think it's good, 5 stars will do. If you're ready, let's talk about the Angels baseball. So we're coming off a series in Cincinnati, in New York since we last spoke. We'll talk about Cincinnati a bit later. Not so much to talk about. We won the series 2-1. Fantastic couple of performances there. In New York, we split the series 2-2. The Yankees are actually coming off a real losing streak coming in. The Angels have come in. They've done basically what we said was probably what we were expecting at best case scenario. However, having watched this series, we know it probably wasn't best case scenario because actually there's a real missed opportunity for winning all 4 games. But I don't want to talk about that right now. I just want to start and talk about Mike Trout. He had a historic stretch over this series. It is a record. This is genuinely a record and historic, something you wouldn't have thought wouldn't have been done before. But it turned out to be 5 home runs in 4 consecutive games as a visiting player at Yankee Stadium. Old and new, never been done before. Mike's done that. The only player that's ever done it previously in 5 consecutive games, going back to the back end of last season, is Aaron Judge at home. Mike Trout is in elite company there. He is just locked in. We know previously he's been hitting the ball hard. It hasn't been dropping. A lot of hard outs, catches on the warning tracks, etc. He is locked in right now, Toby. And we kind of did him a little bit of disservice last week. And I think that lit a fire under him a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, I think Halfway Around the Halo reaches the full way around the Halo. I mean, we/you have been upset at Jack Kohanowitz, and he's turned it around. And we were both a little bit negative about Trout last week, understandably so, because he hadn't hit a home run since the opening series, and boy, has he made up for lost time. Oh my gosh.
It wasn't just the home runs, though. I mean, he wasn't really hitting at all, was he? As I said, it was a lot of bad luck involved, but he seemed to be striking out a bit more. He wasn't getting the balls to drop in, and as you say, wasn't hitting over the fence. But he corrected that. He corrected that in a big way.
Whatever Mike Trout has for breakfast, I want that in shed loads. The guy is just... Whatever he's found in that New York water, people in New York talk about the New York water. They say it makes the best bagels and the best pizza. Turns out it makes the best baseball players too, clearly.
It must be. So what you're saying is all the credit for this Mike Trout performance is in the water that he was drinking.
Potentially. I mean, there's got to be some otherworldly power at play here because
I
I've not seen that Mike Trout in a long time.
But I think he is the otherworldly power. And I think he's just been waiting to unleash it again. And we have always known it's in there. And look,
Fountain of Youth clearly lives in New York.
yeah, I think maybe that's right. But he loves hitting in Yankee Stadium anyway. I was actually there. How many years ago was it now? 2018, I want to say, when he had an unbelievable night there. I think he went 5 for 5, hits a home runs. He was unbelievable that night. It's just one of those stadiums he really likes hitting in. And I think we should all be quite thankful that he didn't love hitting there so much that he wanted to not re-sign with the Angels when he did and actually test free agency. And then I'm sure the Yankees would have made him an offer he couldn't refuse. But I think baseball is a better place when Mike Trout is this good. The Angels baseball, certainly. I'm dreading the day we no longer get to watch performances like that and have him in the lineup. And whilst we can criticize some of it, and it's been very up and down, the injuries have derailed a lot of his recent career, and it's been frustrating. I just long may this continue. We're 19, 20 games into this season. He's been able to hit the way he has. We just pray right now for that health to remain the way it is, because I could watch this all night. I will do. I'll just on repeat.
Yeah, we've always caveated Mike Trout. I mean, our season preview we did a few weeks ago, it was like, if he's healthy, and because we'd not seen it for 4 years, 3-4 years, he'd not been healthy. So it's nice to see that 20 games in, he still looks healthier than ever. He's absolutely firing, and I don't want to just kind of think that it's going to end, because I don't think it will. The way he's been playing, it's great. I mean, the defense is there too. He's playing a really good center field, and he's obviously swinging a really hot bat at the minute. So, yeah, like I say, long may it continue.
Yeah, for sure. I'm worried. I mean, when we say these things, then it tends to unravel fairly quickly. But
do we need to be negative about him again?
It's just, I think so. It's just a privilege to watch. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And moving on from that, and actually, I think the really nice thing to see today, and something that we've actually cried out for Mike's entire Angels career, is actually having somebody behind him that puts that fear into pitchers and can protect him. And we saw that late on today. We saw that with Joe Adell. So Mike Trout, we had 2 on. They got to 2-1 in the count against him. Then there was a weird kind of balk where they went to second and third. Not entirely sure how that happened or what happened there. But anyway, as soon as that first base opened up, they plonked Mike on it. What happens? Joe Adell steps up. Grand salami time. Absolutely crushes one out of there. And actually, Joe, another one on this podcast that we have been less than positive about at times.
Never.
It's a
I always believe.
He's really looking strong again this year after that breakout last year. The power hadn't been there until recently, but the average is hitting like 309, I think, currently, over 300. The OPS is climbing. The power is looking like it's coming back. And actually, he's been moved up against the lefties. He's moved up in the order. He looks right at home, doesn't he, in that 3-4 spot. When Soler's out, looks really, really at home there. So, Joe Adell, again, are you liking what you're seeing from him to start the year?
Oh, loving it. Like we said last week, he's hitting for average, and last year he hit for power, but this year he's actually kind of finding the holes, and obviously he's now starting to find the ball in the air a little bit more and hitting those home runs. And you mentioned the guys behind Trout. I mean, it goes without mentioning Jorge Soler. Obviously, Trout, Adell, Soler going back to back to back, and Soler is, when at the time of his suspension, was leading the AL in RBIs, I believe. So yeah, he's been batting the guys in. Trout leads the AL in runs scored. So yeah, he's actually got that run support behind him that he's needed. That
is a huge one, that he leads the league in runs scored, because that has always been the issue, hasn't it? He's driving guys in, he's hitting home runs, the RBIs are up there, the home runs are up there. The runs, though, he'll get himself on base. It's either a solo shot or nobody's driving him in once he's getting on with the walks. So fantastic from him. Jorge Soler, you're right. I mean, that's 2 games of the suspension down. Hopefully, halfway there, he'll be back. Fingers crossed he hasn't lost any of the momentum we saw beforehand. The next guy I want to talk about, And actually, this goes to a question we got in the Angels WhatsApp, so the Angels UK WhatsApp group. And if you're listening and you're an Angels fan in the UK and you want adding, please just give us a message. We're trying to get all Angels fans in the UK together. It's a place to just talk about the games, what's going on. I think it's really valuable when we are very much all over the country. It's a very niche interest, but some great people in there. Anyway, Ian Towers asked the question about who is the guy that we've been most impressed with, that you wouldn't necessarily expect. And for me, and hopefully you've got a different answer to this, but I'm sure you agree with me, that's Oswald Barasa, right? He has just revenge series in New York. He's hit a couple of home runs. The defense has been really, really good. The OPS has now climbed up to about 900 odd. Not sustainable, but just to see him proving something, that he didn't really get the proper opportunity in New York. He's getting it at the Angels now. He's getting to play every day, whether that's at second base, whether that's at third base, getting him in the lineup. He's not even playing his strongest position, which is shortstop, but he can play all over that infield. And so far, he has been such a valuable piece. And it's the kind of things that we've talked about for a long time with the Angels, where we have to take a chance on these guys sometimes. The owner's not going to go out there and spend on someone guaranteed performance, as we know. And even if he does spend, it's not guaranteed, as we saw with Rendon. But reclamation prospects, former top prospects, guys that have had a cup of coffee but haven't performed so far in the majors. He was just that prime candidate, and we're giving him an opportunity. And so far, and I stress it is a small sample size, and we'll see. Been thoroughly impressed with him. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, you can't overstate the impact that Peraza made. And I do think that there was a little bit of a chip on the shoulder going back to New York and kind of wanting to prove all the doubters within that organization wrong and go, look, this is what you're missing out on. This is what you traded me for peanuts for, literally. So, yeah, he's been great for me. I didn't expect Jose Soriano to be as dominant as he has been. And in terms of the question was the player that succeeded expectations, and I expected him to be good. I didn't expect him to be dominant. So I would say it's probably the low-hanging fruit because he has been incredible, but I didn't see this coming. I saw him making a little bit of progression from last year, and obviously a year kind of deeper into his career, but I did not expect him to be leading baseball in ERA. It's incredible what he's been doing. Absolutely insane. So yeah, for me, Soriano has exceeded expectations, and I don't know how it can be anybody else who's exceeded expectations more.
I mean, it's a very fair point. Jose Soriano, he has just been lights out. His start against the Reds again, he went 7, another 10 punchies, just looked lights out, and he's unhittable. The Angels bullpen tried to blow that game for him somehow. We'll talk about the bullpen later, because at the moment, this is just the positives. They keep on coming. But Soriano, what he's doing, and it looks legit. Where we talked about small sample size with others there, I don't believe it was Soriano. We know he has the stuff. We know that he has the ability to do what he's doing right now. Whether he had it mentally, and it was actually just whether he needed someone like Mike Maddox to come in and really just tell him, yeah, this is how we get the best out of you. This is how you maximize your potential. This is your best pitch mix. And let's see how it goes. And so far, he's just been phenomenal. He's not just, for once, he's not just an ace for the Angels. He's not just an ace for a very weak rotation. He is an ace that could be put on a staff across baseball and stand out as one. And just thank God that the Pirates let us have him back. Because can you imagine if you'd given up a talent like this and let him stay over there and we didn't get him back?
I think the thing you have to look at is imagine the Pirates rotation with him in there.
Yeah. It'd be like their 3 or 4 guy.
Which is just nuts, right? So, yeah, I mean, obviously you never wish injuries upon anybody, but luckily, thankfully, Jose Soriano suffered another Tommy John injury, which kind of sent him back to the Angels, and he's not looked back from it. He's just been superb to start the year. The Angels have obviously, so he's 4-0. He's won all 4 of his games, and the Angels have won 6 and lost 10 of their games without him. So they have 100% winning percentage when he starts, and when he doesn't, it's somewhere around the 40% mark.
And who's on the mound? And who's on the mound lot tomorrow night?
Oh,
Soriano time, baby.
Soriano.
Back at home. On the positive notes, the other couple of guys I just want to give shout outs to. Vaughn Grissom come up, didn't expect much. He's looked the part so far. He's been contributing to Halos. Adam Frazier, all these guys in that second base, third base, bit of left field mix have all been contributing. And that's something that we haven't seen previously from these role players. Every single one of them is having a part to play in any of these wins that we're getting and these performances. Frazier hit his first home run as well, so shout out to him on that. But just really, like, I love seeing these guys come in and actually be able to have an impact, because the opportunity, that's the thing you will say for the Angels. The opportunity is there to earn playing time, to get themselves like established. We don't have guys blocking them. Like, all the opportunities are there for somebody to grab it and take it. And so far, they're looking like they're trying to do so.
I would argue that outside of shortstop, your entire infield is up for grabs, especially with how the season's gone for the other guys. I think the entire rest of the infield is open for business, and it's such a difference to previous years where we've cycled through third baseman, second baseman, and it's just been this guy will play a few games, get DFA'd. This guy will come play a few games, he'll get DFA'd. This guy will play, and I think they've actually found a couple of guys to make a valuable contribution, which they haven't for a long time. We always complain about the roster building because it isn't great. Like you say, we try and get the reclamation projects and go, oh, this guy may come back to some previous form, or may kind of he was highly touted, he's going to find something, and it never seems to happen. But it seems like this is the year that they are putting something together with the guys that they've pretty much picked off the scrap heap.
Without a doubt, and I think that goes into some of the positive things we've seen, particularly this series. So before we talk about the negatives, the final bits of positives I'll say is, like, the Angels hit 13 home runs in this series. The power is clearly there, and they're spreading, whilst Trout hit 5 of them, they've spread them around. The Angels lead the majors in walks, which is just something you would never think of an Angels team doing right now. They're getting on base at very, very good rates. They're hitting for power. They are scoring a lot of runs. On 2 occasions already this series, from very disappointing scenarios, the next night they've been able to just forget it, turn it around, and actually dominate teams. It was a 7-1 victory on Game 2, having had that horrible situation the night before. Again today, they've won 11-4. They're just bouncing back from these difficult scenarios. And that is something, we have not seen from Halos teams. Usually we see the momentum shift, you fail in one opportunity and frustration, and then it just spirals out of control. And again, caveat, we're 20 games into the season. It's not all positive. But these are better signs. Right now, this is not a bad baseball team. We are not watching a bad baseball team. We're not necessarily watching a good baseball team, but there's nothing we're seeing over this first 20 games that suggests that this is as awful a team as we predicted coming into the year.
No, not at all. Like you say, the resilience that the Angels have shown the last, especially in this series, is something that I don't think I've seen much of at all in my entire Angels fandom, to be honest. I don't think there was ever a time where the team would have a couple of rough losses and come out and go, you know what, let's put that to bed, and go and absolutely smash them the next day. And they've done that twice now in a row. And obviously it's tough that the losses were so brutal, but to be able to kind of go, you know what, let's just go and build a big enough lead that they can't blow. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, great. And yeah, I think even some of the things that we've kind of harped on about slightly. So Mike Trout not really hitting in the clutch that much. He had so many clutch hits across the Yankees series. Obviously, like his kind of home runs on top of that as well, but just something that we've not seen in huge amounts from him. And when there's been late game situations and it's been tight, or there's been runners on base, and he's putting the ball in play, whether it's going over the fence or he's drawing a walk or kind of getting a hit, he's been doing that as well. So yeah, so many positives to take from the Yankee series, and obviously winning the Red Series as well. And definitely not a bad baseball team, 500 team right now, and that is currently tied for second in a wide open division. As it looks at the minute.
And I think it is wide open, and the Halos have given themselves a platform. I think the frustration is, in a very tricky, actually, first 20 games, they possibly should be like 12-8, 13-7. There's been ample opportunity for them to win some tight games. And let's talk about these 2 blown saves then. I think the Angels genuinely would be 4-0 in this Yankee series if it wasn't for Jordan Romano right now. And Jordan Romano in game one just couldn't get an out, gave up the 3 runs, just a shocking blown save. In game 3, slightly more leeway in terms of he got the first out, although it was a fantastic play by Teodosio just to make the catch. Then just a routine pop-up that Neto and Peraza between them, just communication wasn't there. And that set the spiral going. Once Chisholm was on base, stole a bag, it was a disaster from there on. So I have a little bit more sympathy there. But at the same time, as an elite closer, like I think genuinely, if Kenley Jansen was on the team this season, we'd possibly have won both of those games. And it is showing up roster. We talk about roster building all the time. When you do things on the cheap, unfortunately, it comes back to bite you. And that's exactly what happened during this series with Romano, who had been good up to that point, hadn't pitched for 7 days, and then has blown 2 games in 3 days.
I do think that that's slight mismanagement from your manager, having your closer not pitching in a week. It's kind of, these guys need to be pitching every kind of 3-4 days to try and stay in some kind of rhythm. You kind of need to pitch like 2 out of every 5 days, let's say, to try and kind of keep in a rhythm. It might not be a safe situation, and I know that kind of your top end relievers relish a safe situation. That's what fires them up the most. And kind of pitching, kind of putting Romano out today, it probably wouldn't have inspired him, because he's like, well, we've got a 7-run lead. Why are you even involving me in the game? But at the same time, you need to stay in a rhythm, and there's kind of like the whole rest versus rust argument. And he looks rusty. He looked like a guy who hadn't pitched in ages, and unfortunately, he couldn't find it, and he still couldn't find it 2 days later. So it's unfortunate. I do want to give him another chance, because he did open the season so well, but at the same time, if I think he is on a very tight leash now in that closer role, especially with Yates coming back from injury. I think that the next chance he gets, if he blows it, I don't think he'll have it back either.
I think that's right. I think you probably do give him one more shot. But with Yates coming back, with Joyce hopefully not too far away, who knows? And other guys, I mean, the bullpen hasn't been great in general, but I think there's still promise there. I mean, Sam Backman looked really good again today. He's had some fantastic outings. I think Pomeranz recently has been really good. Suzuki's been putting him in the right situations, and I think he is an important piece in the back end of that pen, particularly against lefties, although he can get righties out as well, which helps as a lefty. We won a bullpen game today, which I think is the shock of everyone when we saw
especially against Max Fried.
Yeah, we won a bullpen game against Max Fried with Brent Suter starting, Aldegari throwing, these guys, they did well. You can't expect them to be perfect. We know that particularly the back of the pen is not great. Like, well done to them. But yeah, I think with Romano, that was super frustrating. Last night's game really, really got to me. I've been angry all day today. I think just the way we lost that game just really, really pissed me off. It just felt so avoidable. And those are the ones that get you the most, when they feel avoidable, when mistakes happen, errors happen, and then you go and just lose it. And honestly, I needed today's win, because it festers with you, particularly when you care this much. So winning tonight has sort of got rid of those feelings. We can move on, clean slate. But I think the bullpen is still the area I'm most concerned about. But there is some promise within it as well. So it's one to monitor. I think it's one that we need Perry to make sure he is, when the time comes, investment is made, i.e., if guys are struggling, you cannot keep them there to struggle. You have to keep trying to make it better, trying to bring guys up, trying to see, who is around, who can we pick up, who can we trade for. Like, I think the pen is going to be one of those things you need to constantly refresh this season, particularly with Yates and Joyce coming back. Who knows? But I'm seeing some signs of life, but also just some worry as well.
It's a little early to be talking about the Angels as a buyer, isn't it? Are you buying into the hype as much, saying that the Angels should be a buyer and pick up some
No comment, Your Honor. No comment.
Wow, that is I know you love a little bit of hyperbole. I didn't think you were that hyperbolic. Wow.
No comment on that one, but
I
I just think you've got to be open. I think you've got to be open to any opportunities. Is my point, and I don't think we should be in a state when the bats are looking legit right now and the hitting is so good. We shouldn't be in a position where the bullpen is costing us games, and so that's why I just want all these avenues to be open to make sure that actually, if that is the weakness of this team, we go out and we solve it or find solutions for it.
Yeah, I just think that if you are going to look to do that, you're taking a very weak farm system and potentially making it even weaker by trying to pick up some more arms if you're looking at kind of the trade market. And I do think that we are far enough down the line into the season where you're not going to pick up anything worth anything really off of kind of the couch, as they say, kind of out of anything free agency. You're not really going to pick up anything, so it's going to have to come from within the system. And I don't think there's enough relievers within the system that are worth giving a chance to. We saw the Urena experiment already fail, and I don't want to have another young Angels arm thrust into that situation when they're not ready, just because they've got some elite stuff. I don't want to rush them like we've already seen happen and that be mismanaged. So I'm kind of a little bit more on the fence about trying to kind of improve the bullpen. I think that you trust what you've got, and if it's not working, if you have anything within kind of the minor system, and we saw Luke Casey, who's already been sent down there, and obviously Hunter Strickland's in there. He'll be up at some point. We know Hunter Strickland will play at least 4 games for the Angels at some point this season. So yeah, I think he'll be one that will come up, but I wouldn't be eager to trust anything to replace what's there already.
Let's see. I mean, it's still early in the season, but I just don't think you can rest on your laurels with the pen. I think there's enough talent around that we can get to a competitive point, and I just don't want to waste the heater that the bats are on. I think that's the main thing here. It's going to be a long season. There's going to be lots of ups and downs. Speaking of ups and downs, that leads me that is a beautiful segue, by the way, to Reed Detmers, who we've seen 2 starts of, and one of them was absolutely fantastic, one of them less than fantastic. And as you may or may not be aware, I have a bit of a soft spot for Reed Detmers because...
Tell me more.
Yeah, so I was actually... Well, keep it to yourself. Don't like to talk about it, but I was there the day he threw a no-hitter in the stadium. So I've got a real soft spot for him and the ability he has. But you can see...
Wow. That's news to me. I've never heard you mention that before. What? So... Reed Detmers has thrown a no-hitter.
Yeah.
And you were there for it.
I was there for it, yeah. I know.
Wow.
But honestly, I'll probably have to edit this out because the listeners, I don't want them all knowing about that. But Reed, his start in Cincinnati, not so great, struggled a bit, came into New York and gave us exactly what we needed, didn't he? I think he went 6.2, struck out 7, looked dominant, only gave up the earned run at the very end with runner he left on base when he got taken out. But just, can we get more consistency from him? That is the question that we all need to ask.
He's probably the most frustrating kind of player in the entire kind of Angels roster for me at the minute, because we know he's got it. We've seen that he's done it. He's thrown a no-hitter. He's thrown an immaculate inning as well. And were you there for that one too? But yeah, he's so frustrating because it's so inconsistent. It's not even as if it will be good start, blow up, like we've seen from Soriano. Is that it's string tier of the figure ones have a blow up and then be back to good starts again. Yeah. It's kind of, he flip flops between it being a good and a bad start, and I wouldn't, or I probably would bank on him having a little bit of a blow up in his next start, because that's what we've seen so far. It's been good, bad, and then that was a good one that he threw yesterday or the other day. So yeah, it's frustrating not seeing him able to do it consistently, which is why I kind of pitched the idea in the last episode to think that he might end up back in the bullpen, because I think that when he had more of the rhythm of throwing every day, or throwing kind of more regularly, he found more of a rhythm and he was able to do it more consistently. So
But
yeah, hopefully he can do that when he starts.
I was going to say the problem is, well, it's not a problem; it's a good thing. You're never putting a guy like that in the bullpen when he can throw like he did this week, right? When he can throw the start he did against the Yankees, that's not a guy that should be in a bullpen. That should be in the middle of your rotation. And we know he's got the stuff to be there, and he's actually probably the second best pitcher the Angels have, and should be there behind Soriano, because the guy that is there currently, Kikuchi, I think I said he's just becoming unwatchable for me. Like I stayed up for the start of that start the other day, and it was just awful to watch. Like there's nothing good there. He looks.
I was glad I stayed up.
He's a ticking time bomb. Every batter looks like they're gonna either walk or get a home run off him. He's just, I don't know what's happened to start the season, but he looks really poor.
He's also your most expensive pitcher on the roster.
Yeah.
He's being paid to be the frontline guy, and he's not even performing like the fourth guy at the minute. The Angels only have four guys.
Yeah,
It just, we know what we're going to get from him in terms of like he's going to be kind of low fours, maybe in his ERA, kind of maybe push into the three. So he's not going to be blow you away, but we didn't expect him to be this poor, like at all. I definitely didn't expect him to be playing as poorly as he is, and I think that Mike Maddox may have benefited some of the guys and also not benefited Kikuchi because he just looks a bit lost. He looks like his pitch mix is all wrong. It's all wrong, and he just can't. He's just throwing meatballs to guys all the time, and it's just so frustrating. It's either way off the plate or it's right down the middle. He's not dotting the corners like we know and we've seen him do. It's really, really concerning that he just can't seem to find it at the minute. And unfortunately, because the Angels' rotation is so thin at the minute, he can't even have his turn skipped to try and find something, just give him a break. He needs to go out there every fifth day and just try and hope that he can find it. And unfortunately, luckily, the Angels' bats have been so hot, but then when he gives up his kind of customary 4-5 runs in his 4-5 innings, the bullpen then can't kind of stop the tide.
Yeah. I mean, I think he'll find it. I don't think it's going to be this bad all season. But going into this series, they were hyping up his record at Yankee Stadium. He hasn't given a run in X amount of time. All of this, just first inning, home run. Like, you just knew it, didn't you? Just were not confident at all. So he needs to pick it up. And so finally in the rotation, I think the question is what happens when Ryan Johnson and Grayson Rodriguez get back? Because I think, and this gives you an opportunity to talk about your guy, Jack Hanowitz has nailed himself into the rotation for a little while to come. He's had a few good starts in a row. He looks like he's ticking upwards. It's only a matter of time before things implode. But right now he's going to be in the rotation and should be in the rotation. So what do you think happens with those guys? Do you think we send Johnson down? Does he go into the bullpen? And when do we think we have to make this decision?
Well, I think this is more important for our bet. So for those that aren't aware, Nick and I made a bet kind of after our first week that Nick was on the Ryan Johnson side and I was on the Jack Hanowitz side of who would be the better pitcher throughout the rest of the season. And I think we got in Ryan Johnson's head because he then went down with the viral infection. He's now got a hamstring injury. I think he's too afraid to let you down that he's like, you know what? Let's just make the bet void, and then Nick doesn't have to do a 9x9 by 9. So fair play to Ryan Johnson for appeasing you. But I am still claiming victory because Jack Hanowitz's last 2 starts has been very good. Even 3 starts. That 3 starts has been really good. So I'm proclaiming an early victory. And then when the Angels figure out their 5th starter, be it Johnson or Rodriguez, I am willing and happy to continue our bet for whoever the 5th starter ends up being.
Yeah, but knowing the Angels, neither of them will get to 10 starts. So fingers crossed.
Between them might just about scrape 10 starts.
Yeah,
and it could be a combined effort from them.
I haven't signed off on those terms.
From my guy, Jack Hanowitz. So,
long may it continue. Long may it continue. I mean, it's really promising to see a Halo starter do what he's done and come up and work through some of his struggles and look like a much better pitcher with a better pitch mix as well. That's the thing, isn't it? Again, he's added the change up, and he looks more dominant up there. Looks like he's in control. What we do know is, though, once he loses that and starts walking a guy, then it's a bit hairy. And he struggles, I think, to get back into his own mindset and back into the rhythm.
Do you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Reed Detmers a couple of years ago. He'd walk a guy or he'd give up a hit, and then that's it. His head was gone. Or if a guy's on base, his focus is then gone, and he's then scared to pitch to guys. I did notice it. He gave up the home run, Gahanowitz did, and then kind of walked the next batter. I think he was just then scared to pitch and give up another hit in a row. So I do think he just needs to just trust in himself and believe in what he's got, and he'll be absolutely fine. Yeah. So I do think that when he can put that together, obviously his rookie season he was kind of pretty good for the Angels and had the sophomore slump last year and it was literally the worst pitcher in the majors last year. So for the turnaround, obviously we're 20 games in, he's 4 games in. He's just been so much better, and I am pleased to see it from a team and a fan perspective, but also selfishly because he's proving you wrong and me right, and means that I'm going to win a bet. So yeah, all the more for it.
We'll see if you actually win the bet. We'll see if the bet actually exists. But no, promising from him. Less promising from Nolan Shanwell right now. He's been one of the big disappointments for me. He seems to be rolling over on a lot of weak ground balls. There doesn't seem to be... He's had a few big hits here and there, but there's not much going the opposite way, is there? There's not much up the middle. Everything seems like to be weak and ground out. Do you think he'll pick it up? I think he will, but it hasn't been a promising start. And actually, it makes a mockery, doesn't it, of that question? A couple of home runs in that first series. He hasn't looked close to getting a home run since, has he?
No, he's been... I think it's not even harsh to say he's been dreadful. It looks like... I think it looks like he's kind of caught in two minds, as if to go, does he lean into change his approach and hit for more power? Because, like you say, a lot more stuff has been to the pull side, but it's weak. So it's kind of like, am I changing my approach to be more of a power kind of pull guy, or am I more of a slap it round, get contact, find the gaps kind of guy? And I feel like he doesn't know which one he wants to do at the minute.
That's all we need him to be. And the problem is, as a prototypical first baseman is expected to hit for power. We don't need him to hit for power. We have enough guys that can hit for power. We want him to be able to just to get on base, to drive guys in, to use all the fields, to slap it around, to hit some singles, some doubles. Like, that's what you need from him. I don't need him clearing the fence 20 times a season. It's just not his game. And I don't know if it will be his game, but what it is taken away from is his strengths.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of a deep dive because he might potentially be a halo or hell no in a little bit. But I was looking at his splits, and weirdly, he bats over 350 against lefties, and he bats less than 170 against righties, which I found really confusing because obviously normally you have the opposite split. So yeah, it didn't make for pretty reading. Nolan's kind of batting stats this season. He's kind of batting around the 200. He went 0 for 5 today. And he's batting around the 200 mark, which is totally what we don't want from Nolan. We want him to be in the kind of 270, 280 and above kind of range, getting on base. And he's just not shown a lot of it. He's swinging it a lot more too, isn't it? Because he's traditionally, like you say, even hitting singles, or he's been really patient at the plate and getting walks. He seems to be one of the only Angels hitters who's not being as patient. And you look at the rest of the lineup, Zach Neto has drawn more walks in 20 games than he did in the entire season last year.
That's crazy.
Where he seems to have gone the opposite way.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned, but I think he'll pick it up. He's going to be one of these players that just, once he gets on a little bit of a rhythm and starts getting a few balls dropped in, a few 2 for 4s, 2 for 5s, I think he'll get himself back up there, get the average back up there.
Are you concerned about, outside of getting walks, that Zach Neto hasn't really been on base that much and hit many balls in play?
Not that bothered.
What I am concerned about is challenging in the first innings.
That is stupid. No, I'm not worried about Neto in the slightest. I mean, he possibly shouldn't be hitting leadoff the game is not translating to a leadoff hitter at the moment. He probably would be better in the middle of the lineup, so he can utilize his power. But I don't mind it. If he's walking, it's fine. He's getting on base. If he can be there, maybe steal a couple more bags in front of Trout. I'm okay with it at the moment. Ask me again in a month if it's still the same. It might be more of an issue, but at the moment, no real concerns around Zach at all.
So if you think Neto is better in the middle lineup, who do you want seeing lead off?
It's a good question. I would put, this is going to be controversial, possibly someone like Moncada hitting in front of Trout. If he's taking his walks, if he's back, you just want someone that's going to get on base, because there isn't an obvious, other than Neto with his combination of on base and speed, there isn't an obvious guy to do it. So that's why I would probably continue with Neto. But yeah, you basically have to look at someone who's got the eye, someone that's willing to take some pitches, someone who's willing just to get on base, and has enough speed to not be a problem. So yeah, I would probably stick with Neto right now.
If he becomes an everyday guy, would you consider Adam Frazier in there? And before you answer this, I will just caveat with Neto. He is second in the most lead-off home runs in Major League Baseball since the start of last year. So it's not like he's not been doing well in that role. It's just recently he's kind of, well, I guess in the last week or so, because he did hit one last week. But yeah, the last kind of week.
Frazier is perfect for the 9-hole. Leave him there. I think the way the roster's been constructed, other than, again, get Nolan down the order. Where he hit today, I know he went 0 for 5, but he should be hitting in the 6-hole. He's not a guy that should be hitting 3 or 4 in this lineup right now. I love the fact that Joe's been promoted up. Utilize him. He's got power. He's hitting for average at the moment. Make the most of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's another guy that's, I wouldn't say that Joe's exceeded expectations, because
I think he has. I think I would say maybe now. Maybe when he didn't have the power, you could probably say no. But now he's hit a couple of home runs again. I think he's probably exceeded where I thought he was.
And still hitting for the average too.
And still hitting for average, yeah.
And the glove as well. He's
made some really big plays.
I genuinely think that Joe Adell from here on out could have the worst defensive season that you've ever seen from a right fielder, and he will still be nominated for a Gold Glove just for the 3 robberies in one game, and will probably win it. However, that won't happen because Joe Adell has actually been playing pretty good defense.
Yeah. No, I've always loved him. I'm just glad he's finally proving everybody else wrong. We're coming up. A very positive show. We got 6 games now. Again, really tricky against the Padres, who've been hitting well and had a really fun walk-off against the Mariners last night. Let's just laugh about the Mariners for a little bit. That was enjoyable. But yeah, we got 3 with the Padres and then 3 with the Blue Jays. Really tough homestand. How do you see it going? You will get 2 Soriano starts in that, which I think is a key.
Oh, it's 2 wins.
You think so?
Well, based off of what's happened so far, you've got 2 wins there. I think Gahanowicz wins his next start too. Kikuchi loses. We're due a bad Detmer start, so he doesn't win his start. So I reckon that between the 2 series, we get a nice kind of even split, and we come out of the next week. So when we kind of convene again in a week's time, the Angels will still be 500, and there'll be a nice 13-13.
Interesting. So I'm feeling more positive than that. I actually think the Angels can win both of these series. The Blue Jays haven't been great to start this year. They're on a bit of a hangover from the World Series, I think. They've been struggling a bit. Padres
are also really injured at the minute too. Yeah. They are so injured.
The Padres have picked it up and are a good team. But I think with Soriano, I'm going to back Reed to have a good start at home. I think we can actually win that 2-1. And again, I would hope we can beat the Blue Jays. So I'm going to go for a 4-2 homestand. I'm really drinking the Kool-Aid tonight after that win.
Yeah, your head is completely in the clouds. Like, you may as well be an Angel at the minute. You are completely in on cloud 9. You're in heaven at the minute. You are, you're loving life. And the Angels are 500. Like, is this how bad the Angels have been over the last 5, 6, 7 years to get you remotely just believing so much that the Angels are a 500 team and you're speaking so effusively about them? Effusively.
Well, I just go week to week. Basically, go week to week.
We both do, to be fair.
So,
The vibes from last week.
Next week's show, after winning 1 out of 6 at home, it's going to be a horror show. We'll slag them all off, every single one of them. But right now, let's just enjoy it. I do think what we've seen so far is legitimate and promising, and there are real good signs there. There are also some underlying things which we don't want to get into that may show some regression coming. But let's just ignore that for now. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 4-2 homestand. You're going to go for a 3-3 homestand. Let's see how it goes. Finally, let's move on to Halo or Hell No. What have you got for me this week?
Oh, I was actually just looking because I know that the Angels started pretty well last year. So I just want to see where they were after 20. After 20 games last year, guess what the Angels' record was?
10-10.
10-10.
Come on.
That was the start of the downfall.
Yeah.
So the Angels went 11-10, and
right.
That was the last time they were over 500 last year.
Right. So let's. When did Trout get injured? It was around that time, wasn't it?
Probably around then. Yeah. It was what? When did he play? Like 26 games or so.
Yeah, it was around that sort of time. Fine. Let's hope for a bit better this year.
Yeah. So as long as they can go, more than 500 coming out of this series, then we're already in a better position than last year. And maybe Perry wasn't chatting rubbish when he was saying that they've improved. He was. From what we've seen so far, you never know. Could be a division winner at 500 the way it's going. The Athletics
now you need to stop it. This is not a division winner.
Halo or Hell No. Okay, so to start off with, Mike Trout is here to stay.
I feel like we just flip-flop on Trout every single week, but
last week he wasn't healthy. This week he's here to stay.
I can't say anything but Halo on this one. He is the GOAT. It has to be Halo. This run is ridiculous, and long may it continue. So keep it going, Trouty.
Hopefully, he takes from that New York water back with him to LA. That's what I'm hoping.
Bottle it up.
Take the fountain of youth with you, Mike. We need it. Number 2, a 4-man rotation followed by a bullpen game will be a regular thing.
No, I don't think so. It's too taxing. The bullpen's not good enough. I don't think we can afford to do that. I think there's enough. I think it's come at an awkward time with the injuries, the illnesses, etc. So I can't see this continuing. We're on a 13-game stretch at the moment as well of no off days. So I think
the bullpen has just outplayed the Yankees ace, and you're telling me that it's not good enough.
Let's not tempt fate with any more. Let's just enjoy what we had tonight.
Yeah, like you say, I think it is quite unfortunate with the injuries, but one thing I did notice scrolling up my socials today was that Caden Dana is making his first AAA start today, so he's also one to potentially keep an eye on with being that kind of 5th man in the intermediary between kind of him, Rodriguez, and Johnson. It could be a bit of a revolving door between those guys, I feel like, once they're all healthy.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Hell No on that one, though.
Zach Neto shouldn't be allowed to challenge in the first inning.
Halo. Lead off. You're a leadoff man. Do not challenge ever. Unless it is like egregious. Unless it is truly egregious, the call. Don't do it.
It's been... I'm sure in the last week I've seen it 4 times in the first inning from Zach Neto, and he's lost all 4. It's just later in the game, he's been great. But when I feel like in the first inning, unless, like you say, it's a completely egregious call, just let everything go and learn the umpire strike zone, because some umpires are playing a really tight zone as well.
He was so confident today, and obviously we have the advantage of seeing the box on the screen, so can't judge too much. But like, it never looked low; it always looked in the strike zone. And
the 2 after that were very low, but that one was not low.
I was shocked. He thought that one was.
And then next at bat, there was one that Trout definitely looked like he wanted to challenge, but because Neto had lost one prior to him, he didn't want to, and it was just...
Trout would have lost it as well, so I'm glad, actually.
I think that the one ball that was the strike that was called that was high would have been a ball, so that he would have won that one, but I don't think he wanted to, because they'd literally lost one, the previous batter, in the first inning. The Yankees had lost theirs by kind of the end of the 3rd inning, but that didn't actually hurt them. I do feel like, save for CB Buckner and a couple of bumps that we've had along the way, the actual standard of the zones has actually been a lot better, I will kind of say. That. Yeah. I do think guys are actually improving for it as well. So I do think it has been a very welcome introduction into the majors this year.
Mm.
Nolan Shotwell becomes just a platoon first baseman. He's not an everyday player.
I'm going to say hell no at this point. I think it's too early to suggest such a thing, particularly since you gave us those splits earlier that he's hitting lefties better. I think it's too early. It's not like the Angels have another first baseman in the system that's really knocking on the door. I guess Grissom can play there, but that's really it.
He played there today.
Yeah, I'm going to say no for now.
Yeah, I think between the infielders that they've got, there is enough positional versatility that you can have one of the guys play first base on days when Shotwell's facing guys that he's not going to be particularly good against. So I do think that if his struggles continue, I can't see him being an everyday player because he's not worth it. He doesn't offer enough kind of defensively at first base either. I don't think he's not got the greatest range. So
well, you say that, but what about the over the shoulder?
Yeah, honestly, it's
watching him run out there is really funny.
Watching him run, he just looks like the most unathletic player ever, and it just god, it literally looks like he's running in slow motion. But that's him at a full speed.
It was a good catch though.
Great catch, don't get me wrong, but it's horrible to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Sprinting to first base, I just feel like he's never ever going to beat out an infield single. It's painful.
The fact he has any stolen bases at all in his career is a shock.
And he's not a terrible base stealer either. Like genuinely, he's not. He's actually not terrible. Next one, in light of the kind of pitching situation, one of the Angels' drafts picks from last year gets called up to the majors soon.
Depends on your definition of soon. I don't think this side of the All-Star break. No,
that was going to be my line.
I think hell no. I think the Angels are in a position now where they know that they need to develop. There's some talented arms there, but they need to give them the time to actually develop. They can't rush them. They don't need to rush them right now, I don't think.
Yeah, so there was kind of two in particular that I was kind of thinking of in terms of Tyler Bremner, who was a first-round pick, and Chase Shorts, who I believe was the second or third-round pick, who have both looked pretty good in their minor league appearances. I will potentially, depending on how things go, in July, be making a trip out to Rocket City to go and watch them, and hopefully one of them will be playing, and I'll at least get to see some of the future head of talents. I've been a big fan of watching the Rocket City Trash Pandas, who are the Angels AA affiliate, for those that don't know. Best team logo and name in sports, I think. I think it's brilliant. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to be able to go out to Huntsville, Alabama, and go and catch a game.
That'll be fun. That'll be real fun.
Yeah, last but not least for the Hell or Hell No. And this one is very much an off-the-cuff, spur of the moment, since this is a Positive Vibes episode. The Angels finish at least second in the division.
Hell no. I still think fundamentally this team will be one of the poorer teams in the majors. I do. They are still not there. The infrastructure and everything around what Perry's been able to do and what he's put in place, it's just not there for the Angels to be good for a sustained period of time, I don't think. But still, I'm going to enjoy it whilst they're playing well and winning games. But I do think 162 games is a long season. When Trout gets injured, things will start spiraling.
Whoa. This is a positive episode. Don't start talking blasphemous. I just think you look at the other teams, and the Mariners have to put it together, right?
The Mariners will win the division. The Mariners will.
The rotation's too good to struggle for this long, right? The Astros, I can't see coming back. All of their pitchers are injured, like undisclosed length of injuries too. So I don't know.
I think the Astros will go on a run. They usually do. The Mariners are better than us. The A's have got a really strong lineup.
Who'd have thought that 20 games in, the A's would be division leaders? They're actually putting together a nice young team. When they moved to Vegas,
they got really nice. They do. This is what the A's do. They put these teams together and they sell them all off, or don't pay for them. But maybe when they move to Vegas, maybe things change a little bit.
They have kind of started paying the young guys, but I think that's what the Angels should have been doing in terms of paying the young guys early and finally. But
the Angels should have done a lot of things they haven't done. So we could spend a whole episode on that.
Yeah, I've just spotted an absolutely huge spider, by the way, which is really interesting. So
What a way to end the show.
yeah, not going to flip my camera on and show it. And I'm not scared of spiders, but it is pretty large. So yeah,
We will point out for those listening, we live in the UK. There is not a single dangerous spider in this country. So, whilst it may be large, it's not going to do Toby any damage. We'll be back.
No, other than go down my throat. As what's the random stat you swallow 7
It's a made up stat.
Yeah, it is completely made up. But
anyway.
Everyone believes it when they're a kid.
What a way to end. Toby's got a big spider. The Angels split a series in New York. 2-2, some positive stuff. Romano's blown 2. It should have been a sweep. What can you do? If you've enjoyed this episode, please go hit subscribe. The Angels are back against the Padres, against the Blue Jays. We'll be returning after that to discuss the homestand and what's to come. But until then, hope you have a great time, everyone. And go Halos.